Good morning from the International Space Station Flight Control Room at the Johnson Space Center in Houston and Mission Control. As we begin our coverage today of U.S. Spacewalk 82, you are looking live inside the equipment lock of the Quest airlock of the International Space Station. Josh Cassada, who is on the right side of your screen, wearing the suit bearing the red stripes, and just hidden from the field of view, Frank Rubio, who's on the left side. There you see Rubio on the left. Those are our two astronauts for today who will venture outside for a spacewalk expected to last about 7 hours, the focus of which will be on the starboard foretruss of the International Space Station to install and monitor the deployment of one of the I.S.S, the I.S.S rollout solar arrays. The spacewalk today is the 256th in support of space station assembly, maintenance, and upgrades, the third spacewalk that is scheduled for Expedition 68 so far this year, the 11th out of the International Space Station in 2022. The crew is running about 10 minutes ahead of the timeline in their spacewalk preparations. They won't get too much further ahead of the timeline, though, deliberately, because some of the work has to be done while we're in darkness or eclipse. The original solar arrays, called the legacy arrays, although performing extremely well over the course of time, are showing some signs of degradation as expected. The new arrays, the I.S.S, will shade slightly over half of the length of the existing arrays and will be connected to the same power system, again augmenting and boosting the existing power supply for space station operations. The 8 current arrays, the original arrays, are currently capable of generating about 160 kilowatts of power during orbital daytime. Half of that power is stored in the station's batteries for use while the station is in darkness. Each new solar array, the I.S.S, will produce more than 20 kilowatts of electricity, eventually totaling about 120 kilowatts of augmented power during the time the station flies during orbital daylight. In addition, the remaining uncovered solar arrays and the partially uncovered original arrays will continue to generate about 95 kilowatts of power. So ultimately, we're going to wind up with some 215 kilowatts or so of power for the International Space Station. This is going to enable us to increase the amount of research and utilization in the future years of station operations.
Sharpie lights on the thermal cover.
Good news. Yeah, so you're go to open the thermal cover.
Coming open.
And for both of you, I wanted to let you know we're seeing good suit data here on the ground. Only thing we want to confirm is your suit P gauge.
P1 is showing 4.2. PV2 4.3.
Copy, guys. Thanks. And Josh, your go to egress.
Copy that, Nick. Good. Go for the egress.
And Josh, as you're coming out, you're looking to throw down your anchor hook on the aft D-ring.
Copy. I got 3 tabs on.
Whether or not an additional spacewalk on December 7th is required, and again, we won't know that until we're done with the work today, Cassada and Rubio will venture back outside on December 19th to replicate the work they're doing today, but this time on the other side of the backbone of the station, on the port foretruss of the International Space Station, taking yet another I.S.S rollout solar array from a parking place on the truss of the station and installing it on the 4A power channel original solar array on the P4 truss.
Look like they're in a great config. Okay. And I'm feeling a slight pull, but I'm not seeing anything when I spin to the right. With my left foot. Interesting. I see no tethers. Yep, I see you completely clear. Okay. See water resistance.
Frank Rubio at the top of your screen, Josh Cassada on the bottom of your screen, still at the hatchway to the Quest airlock as the two crew members check and double check to make sure they have all their equipment before making their way over to the work site on the starboard fore truss.
That is down. And your right one is down. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. All right, with that, Nick, we've got everything except for HAP check. So my HAP is dry for EV1. And my HAP is also dry for EV2.
Copy, guys. Good buddy checks. You're go to close the thermal cover.
Okay. Your safety colors there in work, and I'll clear those out. Okay, and push. Yeah, nice.
And guys, as you're translating out, just want to let you know that was an on-time departure. Well done.
Nice. Great job by the IDs. Yep, both on the team down on the ground and the one up here. Absolutely crushed it. Thank you, everybody. Can you give me a push on my bag there? Yeah, for sure. This TG. For sure. OT refuses to. Yeah, sometimes that BRT seems like more like a suggestion, doesn't it? All right, good. Okay, thank you. You got it.
Copy, Frank. You're going up the Cedar Spur. For both of you, just a caution to avoid contact with the TUS cable.
Thanks, Nick.
Yeah, Frank. If you look at the outboard edge of the Cassada cart, your handrail is going to be zenith, kind of below mile marker 5820.
And Nick, I think I am at the end of my safety tether here.
Yeah,
because of the
Frank, copy.
Fairleads.
Yeah, Frank, copy. So you're a little too far outboard. So the port Cassada cart is what your target is. You're going to be on the starboard side of that port Cassada cart, so you'll have to go back under the MT. When you get to that port Cassada cart, your handrail is going to just be below mile marker 5820.
Copy.
So warning to avoid the grapple shafts and cervic teeth. They're no touch. And then caution for no aggressive movements on the FSE, so less than 4 inches per second translation speed. Wait until any kind of motion dampens out before imparting loads, and you shouldn't impart loads simultaneously. And do not contact the I.S.S blankets or solar cells. They're fragile. Stay firm. You're going to stow that cable bag on the square grid alpha using 2 hooks to secure the bag.
While Cassada and Rubio are getting situated, making their way towards the I.S.S that will be removed from its payload attachment device parking place on the truss of the station, Koichi Wakata and Nicole Mann are at the Destiny Laboratory robotic workstation as they begin to set up shop there. Wakata will be the arm operator driving Josh Cassada with the I.S.S to the starboard 4 work site for its ultimate installation.
All right, next bag is in a good spot there on the tower. I'm going to get my net off. Frank, where are you these days? I am over on the starboard Cassada cart, dropping off the data. Awesome.
Flying from southwest to northeast across the Pacific, soon to cross the west coast of South America, the International Space Station flies smoothly on. 53 minutes into today's spacewalk by Josh Cassada and Frank Rubio, running about 15 minutes ahead of the timeline so far, having begun the spacewalk at 6:16 a.m. Central Time, 7:16 a.m. Eastern Time.
As you head inboard toward FHRC, you're looking for mile marker 6300, 6300.
That one's my favorite. Thanks, Nick.
And Frank, you're going to translate up to the tower handrail. You're going to go stanchions Alpha Bravo Charlie to the tower.
Okay, copy. Thank you. Okay, I'm looking for a robotic arm around here. That's the one. All right, Frank, do you need comp? Negative, thank you. M1, M2, on space ground 1.
Hello, EV1. We have a GCA to published APFR install position on your go.
Okay, EV1 is ready GCA to the APFR install position.
With the first of the numerous bolts having been released by the crew at the 1 hour mark into today's spacewalk, bolts holding the I.R.O.S.A. or the I.S.S rollout solar array in place on the attachment device on the truss of the International Space Station. Josh Cassada will soon retrieve an articulating portable foot restraint that he will attach to the end of the station's robotic arm that will be operated by Koichi Wakata from the robotic workstation with the assistance of Nicole Mann in the Destiny laboratory of the complex. Cassada will plant his feet in that articulating portable foot restraint. He will ultimately carry the I.R.O.S.A. over to the starboard 4 work site like a telephone repairman at the end of a cherry picker, and he and Rubio will then begin the work to install the I.R.O.S.A., bolt it into place, and prepare it for its ultimate unfurling. On the right side of your screen, wearing the suit bearing the red stripes, Josh Cassada with the articulating portable foot restraint that he will attach to the end of the station's robotic arm that soon will be operated by Koichi Wakata with the assistance of Nicole Mann from the robotic workstation inside the Destiny lab. A good view in the middle of your screen of the I.S.S rollout solar array that will be released from its attachment point, its temporary parking place on the station, and then maneuvered into place to be installed on a mounting bracket, a mod kit, if you will, that was installed on the station during a spacewalk last March.
I understand next steps are walk the red reel and put the red hook on the feeder rail. Is that correct?
Hey, firm, you'll just want to keep an eye out for Frank's tether.
It is nadir of me, so I'm going to call that good, but thank you for the reminder.
Okay, we're set up here, EV1. This is going to be body out and body down. We're coming out about 1 meter and down 3.5 meters.
Out 1 and down 3 meters. EV1 copies. Thanks. You have a go.
Good view of Josh Cassada at the end of the Canadarm2 robotic arm in a foot restraint, positioning him at the right orientation. He will be rotating a couple of rollers called boom deployment system rollers 90 degrees to a deployed position, part of the work in tandem with Frank Rubio to release the I.S.S rollout solar array from its parked position on the truss of the station.
Okay, EV1, we are at the published back-off position. We are setting up for a 2.5 minute bolt access to joint OCAS.
And a panoramic view from 260 miles above the Earth as the International Space Station passes off the northwest coast of Spain.
Frank, how are those ARDs working for you? Oh, good. Yeah. A little more challenging than I expected, but. Nick, I am at ARD1. I am ready to it, and I'm ready for settings.
Yep, copy. R3 and R4 is going to be the next step, and you need to assess your position, see if you need any GCA to be able to reach those.
You know what, M1, do you mind if we took a minute and just moved the body down? It'll just help since I've got about 500 of these to do or so.
Okay, we copy. We're going to bring you a body down 20 centimeters, and with the night pass, clearances are tough, so we'll take your clearances from the boot plate and your body.
Sounds good. I've got clear space between me and I.S.S. I can maintain this clearance.
Copy, starting motion, body down.
Copy. Not motion?
Okay, there is your 20 centimeters.
What? I guessed it right?
Nailed it.
Okay. All right.
1 hour, 50 minutes into the spacewalk. The crew running about 15, 20 minutes ahead of the timeline, doing very well as they are backing out a number of bolts holding the I.S.S rollout solar array in place on flight support equipment on the truss of the station. Frank Rubio will soon be breaking torque on a number of additional bolts holding I.S.S in place. This rollout solar array will be transported to the starboard foretruss to the integrated electronics assembly to be installed on a mounting bracket and electrically connected to join forces with the original solar array for the 3A power channel on the starboard foretruss. Frank Rubio will be pressing ahead here to release the final pair of bolts holding the I.S.S on the flight support equipment on the truss of the International Space Station. We are approaching the 2-hour mark in today's spacewalk. The two crew members outside, Josh Cassada and Frank Rubio, began their spacewalk at 6:16 a.m. Central Time. They're running about 15 to 20 minutes ahead in the timeline.
Back off position. We are setting up for a 3-minute retrieval intermediate joint OCAS.
EV1 is go.
When we bring you in, it's just body in. Everything else should be set up.
I'm going to retrieve the other scoop for Charlie 2.
Affirmative, and you're going to get the square scoop with the long duration tie-down tether on it.
Copy.
Okay, we're ready for the GCA to publish. This is going to bring you body in 80 centimeters, and we still have challenging views with the cameras, so if you can help us out.
Copy, and I'll keep you clear.
2 hours, 9 minutes into the spacewalk. At the top of your screen, Josh Cassada, his feet planted at the end of the Canadarm2 robotic arm, ready to remove the I.S.S rollout solar array from its flight support equipment. After Frank Rubio drives two final bolts that are holding the array in its place, Cassada then will bring the array over to the starboard foretruss work site to begin work with Rubio to install it at the appropriate position adjacent to the original solar array on the starboard foretruss that governs the electrical output for the 3A power channel.
You with us? I heard you, Josh. Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so Frank, I see you in a decent position. And so if you're good with it, and then Josh, you're able to slide the I.S.S nadir, and that should slide off of those pins that are on the FSC, then you'll have it.
Hey, that's good. The pins. Okay. All right, now pull. There we go. Okay.
And the I.S.S rollout solar array, the third in the series of upgraded augmenting arrays for the station, is free from its flight support structure.
All right, Frank. You've got the comm for the Robo. Okay.
Okay, this is going to bring EV1 body down 4 meters.
Copy. Okay. Are you putting any force into I.S.S? Oh, yeah, I'm trying to just keep keep it slightly away from. Okay, you are clear of grapple fixture. How's it feel? Somehow heavy and light at the same time.
A good view of Josh Cassada with the I.S.S rollout solar array. On Earth, it has a mass of about 750 pounds. Once unfurled, it will measure 60 feet long by 20 feet wide, attached to the integrated electronics assembly alongside the original solar array on the starboard fore truss, producing power for the 3A power channel.
All right, Nick, I have a good socket swap with a 2-inch on my PGT, good pull test, and a 12-inch back on the caddy, good pull test. Do you want me to leave the rep that's holding it outside, on the outside of the bag or the inside of the bag?
And that's copy good socket swap, Frank. What we want you to do is put everything inside that bag. We're cleaning it up, and if you want to close it up with everything inside, turn the doors facing the tower and cinch down the straps. That's how we'll leave it as you move out.
Okay. Can I leave the fire side that was holding the PGT on the outside?
That's affirmative.
Frank, let me get a picture of you. I don't even know where you are now. It's okay.
V1, we are set. This is going to bring you body left and body down a little bit.
Okay, body left, body down. V1 is ready.
3, 2, 1, starting motion.
I see good motion. Oh, this one's faster. Wow, a lot faster. Okay.
Flying toward the west coast of South America, Josh Cassada holding the I.S.S rollout solar array, being maneuvered toward the starboard fore truss worksite for its installation to augment power capability for the 3A power channel on the International Space Station. We are 2 hours 34 minutes into the spacewalk, everything going very smoothly, the crew running ahead of the timeline for the day.
Okay, that's pause hold, and we are setting up for the next, it'll be a 3-minute IEA lineup FOROcast.
I'll take it.
Okay, EV1, we are set. This will bring you body in and up under the IEA.
EV1 copies, and I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, starting motion.
And Frank, Nick, back with you. Got a caution here about the Red Hook location is going to be near an IEA radiator, so just be aware of that. The handrail you're looking for is 2217.
You are clear of the Aerosa, but I don't think you realize how close we are. We're only 3 feet away from each other when you swing. Oh, really? Yeah. Thank you for letting me know. Oh, no problem. It's not an issue. It does look just like that.
And Josh, we chatted over it. If you got good clearance, we're good to press with the GCA for the published install.
I've certainly got good clearance from right and forward, and from my chin up, from my chest up.
Okay, copy that, Frank, and you're going to head out into the left side of the mounting bracket.
No rush, dude, but we are ready GCA.
Hey guys, I've got some cautions and warnings I'm going to read up real quick while Frank gets into final position. So don't put your fingers in the I.S.S pin slots on the inside or an outside of the root beam structure, and then when on the aft side of the mod kit, avoid contacting the legacy blanket boxes and protruding trunnions. Also, you're going to want to, when on the mod kit, not impart loads simultaneously. That's translation, unfolding, bolt dots, connectors. So don't move simultaneously. Sudden stops and quick grabs are not allowed on the mod kit, so translate slow, and 30 pounds max lateral force on the mod kit during and after I.S.S soft capture.
2 hours, 43 minutes into today's spacewalk. Josh Cassada and Frank Rubio about to begin work to install the I.S.S rollout solar array onto its mounting bracket on the starboard fore truss of the International Space Station. Cassada wearing the suit with the red stripes along the legs, holding the I.S.S, as it is called by its acronym. Again, these are 750 pounds apiece in mass. Once unfurled after their installation, will be 60 feet long and 20 feet wide to augment the electrical capability of the 3A power channel of the International Space Station. This is the third in a series of at least 6 I.S.S to be installed on the International Space Station. Approaching the 3-hour mark in the spacewalk, Josh Cassada, Frank Rubio are fine-tuning the alignment of the I.S.S rollout solar array onto its mounting bracket on the starboard fore truss.
Okay, we are flat, we're aligned. Okay. If you want, I'll hold it there and you get one of those J-hooks in. But we're not in yet. We have to slide it in maybe 1.5 inches. I mean, so we're aligned. Just got to go aft.
But we can't see what's keeping us from going
Yeah.
out.
If you can hold this,
Yeah?
yep, I'll go down and I can actually push on the beam also. Can you hold it here?
I can.
Okay, you got it? All right, so right there, we should be lined up. I'm going to pull the soft captures down. I have a third hand right now.
That's good.
Yep, that's what it was.
Okay, that's one. What's your helmet? Well, Houston, he did it. We got 2 installed.
Holy cow.
No kidding. There's a huge sigh down here. Well done.
That's not the way it was supposed to be, but it worked. All right, nice job, Josh. I know you've been muscling through that.
No, it's okay. I'm just trying to blink the sweat out of my eyes.
At the 3-hour mark, the I.S.S is now engaged and mounted on the mounting bracket on the modification kit on the starboard fore truss. A little elbow grease required, but nonetheless, I.S.S is on its mounting bracket on the S4 truss.
A couple second breather here after struggling with that. That's more than cool.
Squeaky and Duke, we are installed and ready for the back-off maneuver.
Bobby, we are setting up for the I.S.S back-off.
Feels weird not to be holding onto an I.S.S now.
I know. It also feels weird to have the Earth completely above you.
Hey, and guys, big picture.
That's upside down.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, guys. Just big picture, you're well ahead of timeline. You're going to see an eclipse come. This is not the one we're targeting for the cable mate. We're working on the next eclipse after this one. So when it gets dark, we're not behind.
Got it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Okay, EV1, we are set up. This is going to bring you body right about 2.5 meters.
With the I.S.S installed on its mounting bracket, the next step, once Cassada is backed away at the end of the station's robotic arm from the work site to provide clearance, will be the release of final hinge restraint bolts That will enable the I.S.S to unfold like a flip phone to its pre-deployment orientation.
Sure haven't gone very far for a whole lot of jerks.
Once the array is folded open, then Cassada will be working to drive a series of bolts that will affix the array to the integrated electronics assembly on the International Space Station. Electrical connections will be hooked up. That basically mates the array's electrical system to the original array that sits on the starboard 4, starboard 3 truss that was delivered 15 years ago to the station on the STS-117 mission of the shuttle Atlantis. The two spacewalkers will then monitor the unfolding, basically the unfurling of the array to its full length of 60 feet, following the tensioning of that array to its final configuration.
Obviously, you're just going to want to maintain awareness of your safety tether back to the arm because that's where your anchor's at. And so, Josh, once you get that fair lead in on that lower strut, then you're on the right side to get into position for the unfold. I got a warning that when we do that unfold, it's a pinch point, so keep clear of the hinge on I.S.S.
Okay, understood. 52 copies. Frank, with that moving anchor of my safety tether, just want to make sure that now I can get it off to my left. It's currently open my right. Yep. So I'm going to do. It's clear. Just see it. Yep. No, yeah. That'll work. Keep going. Keep going. Bring your lights down. Keep going down on your legs. Good. You're clear. Awesome. Perfect. Thank you. Yep.
The two spacewalkers now will tighten a pair of hinge restraint bolts to make sure that the unfolded I.S.S rollout solar array does not have any motion at the hinge itself. We're 3 hours 40 minutes into the spacewalk. The crew continues to work slightly ahead of the timeline. Everything proceeding in excellent shape.
Okay, 17 turns again. The green light and actual torque of 2.3.
Copy, that's a good R8. So now we're going to work to try to release them one turn. So the new setting is alpha 1 counterclockwise 2.
Alpha 1 is set. Counterclockwise 2 is set. And I'll try to go get R7 first here, and we're doing turn or less, correct?
Copy, 1 turn or less.
Quarters on R8.
Copy. A good release on both R7 and R8. You can stow the PGT, and then Frank's going to hand you that AET with the AMS knob and cap keeper.
Copy.
Hey guys, we're back with you off a short handover. Just wanted to provide you with a big picture as you're moving into position for the next task. From a consumables perspective, you guys are golden. We've got plenty of time. You're on track for the timeline. So we're going to work these bolts. We're going to work the cable as a priority when we get into Eclipse. We'll mix in the cables as we need to. Then we'll step into the deploy. And we're completely on track for trying to get after 1 Bravo, so you're doing great.
Thanks a lot, Nick, for the heads up. Sounds great, thanks, Nick. I am ready for settings.
Copy, you've got Bravo 5, clockwise 2.
Spacecraft communicator Nick Hague reporting back to the crew a status in the big picture. The 1B cable that he referred to is one of 4 electrical connectors on the adjacent starboard 6 truss to which this I.S.S solar array, the rollout solar array, is attached now and will soon be unfurled. Back in March, there was a trip, an electrical trip. You could call it a short in the circuitry of the 1B power channel on the starboard 6 solar array that took down some of the power capability of the 1B solar array, the 1B power channel itself. The array had been operating at a somewhat reduced or degraded capability until about a week and a half ago, when there was another electrical trip that further degraded its capability and took down the 1B channel altogether. All of the electrical loads for systems usually powered by the 1B power channel went over to the 1A power channel seamlessly, so there was no interruption in space station operations or payload or utilization work. However, in order to get the 1B power channel back up and running at about 75% of capability, the 2 spacewalkers are going to disconnect one of the 4 electrical connectors between that 1B power channel and the integrated electronics assembly on the starboard 6 truss, isolating the affected area of the solar array, and then the 1B power channel can be reactivated to about 75% of its rated performance. The 1B power channel is going to get its own I.S.S rollout solar array next year, when the next pair of solar arrays are launched on another SpaceX Cargo Dragon's resupply flight. A good view of the I.S.S rollout solar array that has been installed on the starboard 4 truss of the International Space Station. Now 4 hours 22 minutes into today's spacewalk by Josh Cassada and Frank Rubio.
Is there any way you can pull these down, Frank? Out of the way.
Okay. So unfortunately, the cable ties got him up there.
Yeah. There we go. All right, starting turnarounds again. Okay. Quick green light, actual torque 21.9, and that says I got 0.3 turns. I didn't even see that.
Copy, Josh. That's good. That's a good bolt.
Spacewalk communicator Nick Hague letting Cassada and Rubio know what the big picture is here at the 4 hour 25-minute mark. The I.S.S rollout solar array permanently affixed now to the starboard 4 truss of the International Space Station. The crew will do a little bit of cleanup here, waiting for the start of a nighttime pass about 17.5 minutes from now. It is during that nighttime pass that there will be a mating of cables that will electrically connect the new I.S.S rollout solar array to the solar array that currently exists, the original array that was delivered 15.5 years ago on the STS-117 mission of the Space Shuttle Atlantis.
Nick, while we do catch our breath and take in this incredible view, after these are mated, understand we're going to go back to the deploy 9 and 10, and then Frank will hang out for a couple minutes and then start making his way to S6, is that right?
Yep, copy. And as efficient as you guys are, we may have to pause a little bit because the deployment needs to be in sunlight.
Okay, copy that.
I bet you say that to all the EVAs. We're only efficient because of the plan that was put together. It's remarkable. And the team that got us out of the door on time worked out really well.
And guys, just want to let you know, we've got we've got almost 20 minutes left in this eclipse. You're working super fast, so we've got time to work through this.
Okay, copy that. Oh, thank you, Nick.
So it's the panel one, is that right, Frank?
Well, it's the one that's been taking my rear end here.
Rubio working to connect the fourth and final electrical cable that will mate electrically the newly installed ISS rollout solar array to the 3A power channel source on the S4 starboard array of the International Space Station. Rubio working in tight quarters there.
Okay, copy that.
No more constraints now to working during the eclipse period of darkness. We'll come into an orbital sunrise in about 15 minutes, at which point there is one final step before the unfurling of the I.S.S array, that being the release of a pair of launch restraint bolts that will basically remove all the stored energy in the rolled up array and allow it to begin to unfurl to its full length of 60 feet, followed by the driving of 2 bolts that will provide the tensioning for the array that's required.
And Frank, while we're sitting here, in the procedures, it's got a reminder here, you know, the target that you're trying to look at as this deploys is that those initial magnets as they snap together at the base of the boom. That's the item of interest.
Yep, and those will be in the middle section, right?
Yeah, so it's located on the...
just directly over the hinge point?
Yeah, negative. It's on the outside, so it's on the very ends of the boom. And it's rolled flat, and you'll see them fold back and make that tube. And it's the thing we kept yelling at you not to touch that has the white skirt.
Okay. Yep, I see it. Hopefully you guys have a good view on the Hacker.
And we're in a quick handover between satellites, so we'll get back momentarily our downlink video from the space station.
There's 18, and I see a white line.
Copy. 18 turns, white line on R9. Good bolt.
Got it.
And Frank, are you in position? We had a quick handover there.
I am at 2101, 2102.
Copy. Okay, Josh, you are go for R10.
I'm at 21 turns. It just needs a little persuasion.
Copy, Josh. That's expected.
Okay with it, Nick. I'm going to put a couple more turns on it.
Yep, your go. You can't overturn it.
Okay, sounds good.
Turn to move.
The rollout solar array begins to unfurl. This will take a little under 10 minutes to reach its full length of 60 feet.
This is remarkable.
This array, when fully deployed to its length of 60 feet, will shadow about half of the original array on the starboard foretruss, providing an additional 20 kilowatts or so of electrical capability for the space station.
And Nick, from my vantage point, it looks like on this side, all the magnets are aligning and zipping up properly all the way, at least for 15, 20 feet.
That's great to hear, Frank. Thanks for the words.
And the 2 bolts to tension the newly deployed rollout solar array have now been driven, so that solar array work is now complete.
And guys, just want to let you know we're seeing good power off I.S.S, so it's up and working.
Nice. Awesome news. Awesome. Holy cow. I'm really speechless, but this will do it.
That's pretty cool.
And the hatch is now open between the equipment lock and the crew lock, as Nicole Mann will now begin work to bring in Cassada and Rubio. They will first work to remove the jet-powered backpack, the SAFER unit, or Simplified Aid for EVA Rescue unit, from his extravehicular mobility unit. Again, today's spacewalk registered in the history books at 7 hours and 5 minutes in the installation of the next in the series, the third in the series of ISS rollout solar arrays, now up and running and generating electricity for the 3A power channel on the starboard 4 truss of the International Space Station. Cassada and Rubio safely back inside the equipment lock of the Quest airlock of the International Space Station, a 7-hour, 5-minute spacewalk in which they successfully installed and deployed the third in the series of ISS rollout solar arrays on the starboard 4 truss of the International Space Station. It is up and running in good shape, augmenting power already for the 3A power channel for the International Outpost. And the helmets are off. For now, that'll do it for us here in Mission Control. Have a great weekend. Thanks for watching. This is Mission Control Houston.